So what's so spectacular about this? To me, our pal here looks like your average crypt corpse.
Well, he isn't. Do you see this marking on his forehead? That's a symbol of the Ashian, one of the two priest castes who reigned over the Pyrean Empire like the Lightborn did over Vin. He was no high priest, but more than an acolyte. Let's just hope he participated in the manufacture of the sigil stone back in the Pyrean era.
Well, hoping can't hurt. But look, we have company.
Dalvarek, Archmagister, how's the situation?
Walk blessed, Grand Master. We're fine. Everything is ready. So this is him?
Yes, this is the Prophet.
Interesting. Truly interesting. I imagined you to be different. I'm Lexiel Marigil, Archmagister of the Holy Order. Pleased to make your acquaintance. So, where do we start? Has the Grand Master already informed you of the goal of this mission? Correct. Now you're wondering how will this be possible? This is where the word of the dead comes into play. An old relic we'll need to find.
The word of the dead? I thought that was a legend.
No, it exists. And we also know where. Just so you understand, the word of the dead is an artifact that allows entering a deceased person's mind to relive his last memories as if they were your own.
And you want to do just that with our frozen pal here. This is the grand plan, right?
Right. You'll need to locate the word of the dead, teleport the Pyrean's body to you, and then enter his thoughts. And there you'll have to look for the words of the ritual. True, but we're talking about a different form of magic. It works similarly to the forbidden school of entropy. That's right, but the priest himself did, and according to the legend, this should allow you to understand. Well, we only lack the last words of this ritual. What you have to look for is an ornamental scroll, which looks just like the one on the drawing I'll give you in a moment. All you have to do is remember the glyphs and the scroll, then write them down once you're back in the waking world. Well, this is...
There's an old manor in Enderal's west that belongs to an old collector of artifacts. We received a tip that the word of the dead is in his possession.
Hang on. Are you talking about this odd fellow with the puppets? The aged man from the folk song?
I am. You won't take it. It will be enough to find it. Use it on the Pyrean and then leave. You will travel to the manor with Dalvarek, wait for nightfall, and then introduce yourself to the aged man as a fellow collector of artifacts. Then you will offer him this brooch, and if all goes well, he will offer you a quarter for the night to negotiate in the morning. Then it's all a matter of timing. Sneak out of your room, look for the word of the dead, and teleport the Pyrean to you. A good question, but no. The aged man is special, so to speak. Even the Lightborn ordered us to let him live in peace. The Black Guardian knows why. So, if we have to trick him, we will at least do it inconspicuously, which is why you and the mercenary are well suited for the task. No one will connect your faces to the Holy Order. Then you'll flee. There must be no violence, no matter what happens. Archmagister?
Yes, well, that is a good point. We don't know, because we don't even know what the artifact looks like. But, how goes the saying? The proof of the eating is in the pudding.
We'll manage somehow. And even if we don't, It definitely sounds like an adventure.
It's a great responsibility, be aware of that. But I have faith in both of you. Now get going as soon as you can. This mission will be fruitful. I can feel it.
And there they go. Yep, just meet me at the Myrids Tower at the Western Cliff. I'll go grab my stuff now.
Yes.
My Sir de Luna. And I felt that. Well, seems the Grandmaster is crazy for you. So who am I to question his judgment?
Huh?
Yes? Well, as I told you, I was never very popular with the other novices. You know, the novitiate was very challenging. The magisters only rarely gave us days off to contemplate, as they called it. The others usually used it to go to the tavern to gamble and drink. I never really liked that kind of pastime, and I still don't. I've never really thought about things like that. You know, life in the temple is quite secluded, and I doubt there are many men or women who would find my way of living attractive. But forgive me, that's very personal. I don't really want to talk about it. That's true, but when I feel the need to relax, I prefer taking a stroll or spending time in the baths. Whatever secret there is about relaxing to loud music, raucous shouting, and alcohol is beyond me. Tattoo? Ah, of course, you mean my mark. I've had that for as long as I can remember, and I don't have the slightest idea as to how I got it. That's what Tyrus said too, but if it has a meaning, it's obscure. I couldn't find anything in the books, and the magisters couldn't put their fingers on it either. No, it isn't. It's just there, that's all. It does. You're the first to tell me that. But thanks, I guess. Yes, it is. Master Tyrus, my foster father. He was half Kyranian, as you might have guessed already. Some words just stuck around. It was stitched into the blanket they found me in near that village. I don't really know if it is my actual name, but I had nothing else to go with, so it stuck. Well, what should I think about them? They're disquieting. Speaking of which, recently there's been word from the League of Apothecari up north. They say that their studies on the Red Madness haven't borne fruit yet, and that it is like no disease they've ever encountered. Honestly, that has rid me of the last of my doubts about the cycle being real, just as the Grandmaster said. Let's just hope we can find out how to stop it.
Move along.
Good evening.
Ah, there you are. Ready to go? Wonderful. Here, this is the place where the aged man's manor is supposed to be. Lead on. I'll follow you.
Already dark? Oh my, how the time flies by.
Huh? The scar. Well, let's put it this way. If you one day end up in a Talgalean tavern and two 6-foot-tall Arazalian women invite you into their room, you should either damn well know who they are or make a run for it. Never heard of it? It's the capital of Araziel. At least if you ask the civilized people. Hands up. Guilty. Some rich snob had hired me back then to bring him a totem from one of the camps of the Free People. That is, the Arazelians who worship their ancestors' gods, instead of the Lightborn, and live as nomads. Since you're part Arazelian, I'll just assume you know a little about the conflict between the civilized and the Free People there. The assassinations, the blood feuds, and so on. The usual, if two sides both believe they're on the right side of history. Anyway, obviously this job of mine originated from that feud. The totem belonged to a free tribe, and the snob wanted it in order to publicly defile it. So I got it for him. Oh, why, of course. I still cried myself to sleep months after that. Seriously, why should I? Both the free and civilized are so eager to bash each other's heads in, it's not like one defiled totem more or less would have made any difference. Correct. And I was a little drunk and a little lonely, if you get what I mean. Have you ever seen a pure-blooded Arazalian woman in her 20s? It's really hard to say no to that. In any case, as you already noticed, the whole thing went down differently than expected. My face made acquaintances with a table leg and 4 absolutely untender women's feet and hands. And of course the totem was gone, together with all my clothing and money. I guess I had that coming somehow. That's what happens if you ask your loins rather than your head in the wrong situations. Yeah. Oh, woe, such a cold world this is. I present you my deepest scars, you thank me with naught but mockery. Be damned, O impish creature. But anyway, how does the saying go? A truly beautiful face can never be tarnished. Facts remain facts. Keep your chin up. These are the puppets the bards have been singing about. Huh. Interesting to see what some people consider art. Huh? Well, that's the big question. Apparently this old fellow, the aged man, manufactures them in his manor, and then places them randomly in the wilderness. And no, I don't have the slightest clue as to what the point of this is supposed to be. Scaring little kids, maybe. He's definitely quite the eccentric. Yeah, I did. Why do you ask? Now, aren't you inquisitive? Let me think. I spent most of my time abroad in Kira, and also a couple of years on the Isles of Calia. And there was this mission that led me to Maiar Aranath once. Yeah, it is. I was there with a group of mercenaries. We were hired to get something from a tower in the old capital. Not a nice spot of earth, truly. There's this fog everywhere, and with every step you take, you have to be careful the swamps don't get the better of you. But of course, that's also what makes it exciting. Oof. Different. As beautiful as the Isles are, there's always this feeling of rush and competition. Have you ever heard of the game penny? On Calia, it's not a crime if a merchant tries to cheat a customer. It's the customer's fault if he doesn't see the fraud. But if he does, the merchant owes him a token penny. Bizarre, isn't it? But over there, it's common practice. What am I, a traveling tome? I'm afraid I'm not a very good storyteller. But Kira's great. The people there are so much freer in their way of thinking. There are the great bazaars, the palaces of the merchant lords, and the fortress of the mages' circles. But you just have to see it for yourself someday. That's a good question. I suppose in the end, it was just a hunch I had. Plus, all these civil wars in other countries didn't exactly invite one to stay. Well, I guess that depends on where you're standing. Of course, times can be tough, especially if you come to a new city or even country where you know nobody. But if you're good at what you do, which I am, there's always work, everywhere. And yeah, I don't eat God's tongue for breakfast, but it was always enough for a roof over my head when I wanted, and some other earthly pleasures. That's what life's all about, isn't it? Keep your chin up.